It was past midnight. The city outside was quiet, but inside his office, the lights still burned. Bill Gates sat alone at his desk, his glasses resting beside a stack of handwritten notes. The room was silent except for the faint hum of the night air. He stared at the papers for what felt like hours, yet the decision he had to make refused to become clear. He wasn't facing a business problem or a financial crisis. It was something deeper, something that could change the direction of everything he had built. For the first time in a long time, Bill felt uncertain. The weight of years of responsibility, expectations, and success pressed heavily on his shoulders. For decades, people had seen him as the man who always had the answers, the visionary, the problem solver, the man who built an empire from an idea. But that night, he was simply human, vulnerable. The path he'd chosen still aligned with the person he had become. The choice before him was simple to describe but impossible to make. Continue leading the empire he had created or step away and dedicate his time, energy, and heart to something entirely different, helping humanity. Staying meant comfort, control, and legacy in the world of technology. Leaving meant uncertainty, criticism, and the terrifying freedom to start again. He leaned back in his chair and thought about the people who had walked with him through the years. The long nights coding, the endless meetings, the thrill of creation, the pride of innovation, and then, the growing feeling that perhaps the next frontier wasn't in technology but in humanity itself. He remembered visiting small villages, seeing children holding books donated by his foundation, their eyes bright with curiosity. He remembered the mothers who thanked him for vaccines that saved their babies' lives. In those moments, he felt something technology could never give him, peace. As the clock struck 1, he stood up and walked toward the window. The reflection staring back at him wasn't the young man who once dreamed of computers changing the world. It was someone older, wiser, but still searching for meaning. He whispered to himself, "If I stay here, I'll continue building. But if I leave, maybe I'll start healing." The silence of that night carried the answer. He walked back to his desk, picked up his pen, and wrote a single sentence on the first page of a new notebook. "It's time to serve people, not systems." That one line became the start of his next chapter, the transformation from a business giant to a global humanitarian. The next morning, when he announced that he was stepping back from daily operations, the world was stunned. Some said it was crazy. Others called it brave. But deep inside, Bill felt lighter, freer. Years later, he would reflect on that night and say it was the hardest decision he ever made, not because he risked his success, but because he had to let go of who he once was to become who he needed to be. That night, he learned something powerful. True success isn't about holding on, it's about knowing when to let go. And sometimes, walking away isn't quitting. It's choosing peace over power. So whenever you face a difficult decision, remember this: the hardest choices often lead to the most meaningful chapters of your life.